Come on. I'm live now. Alright. Okay. Ugh. Hello, my lovely toads, and welcome to the next stream. Yeah, for some reason I'm doing Super Mario Kart after Mario Kart 7 and Mario Kart 8. You may be wondering why. So anyway, let's get started. Nah, it's just because I wanted to rip this band-aid off as quick as possible. I mean, it's Super Mario Kart. Who wants to talk about this game? So yeah, as you can see, I made another gameplay video where I played the game. And then, here we are with the first track, Mario Circuit 1. YouTube compression sure is kind to my videos, ain't it? So yeah, you take a left turn. One thing I want to mention about this game, it's actually sometimes kind of beneficial to drive in the off-road. It doesn't slow you down that much, and the comms can go super fast. Though you don't want to do stuff like that, unless you're an idiot. Though it did actually end up working out. And that's the first lap. Should mention that Super Mario Kart has 5 laps, but unless it's a stage just like Thwomps, which only would activate on lap 2, I don't think there's any point in me going further than lap 1. I mean, what do you want me to say about this one? And I should have probably checked that part, but anyway. What do you want me to say about it, honestly? It is one of the most nothing tracks in the game. Though, unfortunately, as we'll see, there's a lot of nothing tracks in this game. This is just... it's the first track. Anyway, what about the music? Yeah, I guess I'll just use this. The music is about, like, the track. It's just kind of fine. It is B tier. It is a solid listen, but much like a lot of B tier songs, it's not really anything I'd go out of my way to listen to. And we're actually going to be getting a lot of the songs out of the way early on, because as you can see, this game reuses a lot of track themes. So because of that, there's actually only 8 songs in this game for us to look at of its 20 tracks. So, that's weird. Oh yeah, I should also probably mention that when I was recording this, I had used I tried to make it look like I beat every track on my first try. I didn't. And for some of the tracks, I even flat out save stayed in the middle of them. So, yeah, liar exposed. Yeah, so then, these turns are... I don't really like these turns. Like, it was hard to see, But I actually had to let go of right for a split second. You want to know why? Because that turn is so wide that if you don't let go of right at some point, you will spin out. Oh yeah, the lap's over. Sorry, this game is so dull that I often forget to pay attention to that. I gotta be honest, I don't like this track. Some may say D tier is a little harsh for it, but like, it's really dumb to me to have it turn so wide on the first lap, on like the second track of the game. Yeah, you could probably combat it by drifting, but like, it's the second track of the game. You think the new audiences in this new game even know what drifting is? Yeah, I'm not a fan of that one. What about the music, though? Is that any better? I feel similarly about this theme as I do with Mario Circuit, though I do think it is a substantial improvement. It's not. It is a pretty pleasant and enjoyable song, and unlike Mario Circuit, I could actually see myself re-listening to this one in some sort of, to some extent. And what's next on the agenda, other than our first Ghost Valley? So, first of all, the track design of this one, I mean, that is literally just a circle with a little knob. It is kind of cool that you could just kind of cut ahead of the comms there a bit. The comms don't seem to know how to go straight there, so you kind of have a bit of an advantage. And then, yeah, that was the track. Don't you just love circle the track? I will say that I do like the little cape shortcut. I'm not sure if my mouse is displaying, but right above Koopa Troopa, there's a bit of a cape shortcut. And I think that puts it just a hair above Mario Circuit 1. Partially because I do actually genuinely like the cape feather as an item, and I hope to see it, and I really wish that it got to return in Super Circuit. And the music, well, yeah, I don't know what you want me to say about that. That is, yeah, not terrible, not unlistenable, but I mean, are you ever going to go out of your way to re-listen to this one when there are so many better songs? Actually, maybe that means it belongs in C tier. Nah, I'm sorry. I don't really like it all that much. And then next up we have Bowser Castle 1. I don't know why this song takes so long to start, by the way. Yeah, as you can see, there's a bunch of turns and walls. Don't you love 90-degree turns? Sharp 90-degree turns? Aren't they the best? Even ignoring that, Now the thwomps are activated, and you can see one of this game's greatest qualities. Maybe. Actually, probably not. But yeah, I'm avoiding the thwomps, but one thing that I need to mention, well, you can avoid the thwomps just fine, or the comms can literally phase right through the thwomps. I don't like that. Other than that, this track is eh. It's just a bunch of sharp, annoying 90-degree turns with kind of bland feeling aesthetics. It's not one of my favorites, but it's not one of my absolute least favorites either. I think bottom of C so far is a perfect spot for it. I mean, maybe my rankings on this will change at some point, but like, are you really expecting me to have S tier rankings of the tracks of Super Mario Kart? Didn't think so. So, yeah. And the music on the other hand. Oh wow, it didn't take forever to start. You may have noticed how the Ghost Valley theme kind of sounded similar to the Super Mario World Ghost House theme, and this kind of sounds similar to the final boss theme of Super Mario World. Well, I feel like it was a swing and a miss to attempt that for Ghost Valley. For Bowser Castle, I'd actually say it paid off really well. Yeah, I quite like it actually. I think the song in this one actually goes up in A tier. Honestly, not bad. Did a pretty good job with it. I could see myself re-listening to this one. Actually, nah, I think I'm knocking it down to B tier, but it is definitely a substantial step up from these two. And next up we have Mario Circuit 2. The comms are immediately bumping all of the coins out of me, but I actually had to replay these tracks in time trials before recording this because pretty much all of them would have been in F tier just because of how frustrating the comm AI in this game is. But yeah. And then we get to the big jump. That was enough to boost this track up. That's it. I mean, it is a pretty fun jump, admittedly. And the rest of the track feels a decent balance of... I mean, I'm not playing very well in this footage, but I feel like the track is a good amount of difficulty, too. Is it enough to push it out of C tier? Nope, but it is... Nope, but it is at least something. And that is more than I can say about this, and this. And the music we've already covered. So now it's time for the next cup, the Flower Cup. I am not looking forward to this. I can just say it right now. The Flower Cup and Special Cup, I did not like either of those. Though I think I may like the Special Cup a smidge more than the Flower Cup. But we'll get to that when we get to that. I think Special Cup is really bipolar, but Flower Cup. First of all, this aesthetic, it does look fairly tasty, I guess. And then you go through all of this. I'm not a huge fan of how punishing the off-road in this track is. Like, compared to the other ones where the off-road doesn't really slow you down that much. Of course, I'm not going to actually... Oh, there we go. You only saw it for like a split second, though. But yeah, the off-road in this version for some reason really slows you down. I mean, I don't know what you want me to say about it. It's Choco Island. There. It's really sad that the track with the bumps in the road is the second to best track we've had thus far. But trust me, it is not gonna get much better than this. And the music, I actually remember quite liking the music for Choco Island. Let's see if my opinion still stands. Yeah, I quite like it actually. Not enough to put an A tier, but maybe. I think that seems like a good spot for it. It seems like a good transition between the greatness of this and the mediocrity, or and the pretty good of this. We only have 3 songs left, and we've already covered 6 of the 20 tracks. That's kind of sad. But anyway, so that was Choco Island. Definitely one of the tracks of all time. Oh, Ghost Valley 2. So for those that don't know, years ago I actually did a ranking of every single track in Super Mario Kart, not including the Special Cup because I was bad and couldn't unlock it. I'd rank this one all the way in dead last. I did not like it. Do I still think that way? Honestly, no. But do I like it? I mean, as you can see, the Calm AI is just as fun as ever. But, the layout is still really uninteresting. I guess it's slightly more interesting than the first one. But at the same time, I like that Cape shortcut in the first one. There. Whatever. My past self is going to be so mad at me for this choice, but I'm not really sure what to think. I'm at least glad that I had chose this game for this kind of middle one, because, like, as you can see, this C tier is going to be filled to the brim by the end of this. And as for the music... Oh, wait, we already covered that. Yeah, better not say as for the music that much anymore, because I'm going to make that mistake a bunch then. Oh god, Donut Plains 2. So remember when I said that I like Flower Cup less than Mushroom Cup? Now we're getting into the tracks where I actually mean that. As you can see, the swervy road is just so fun to drive on. And of course, this game's controls, which, if you're veering too far in one direction, it is going to swerve you in that direction, whether you want it to or not. It's like you can barely turn because of just how much it swerves you. And this track... The issue with the Donut Plains tracks is that they just highlight how bad the controls of the game actually are. The other tracks all have the problems to an extent, but I don't think they really bothered me as much as the Donut Plains and 2 particular Mario circuits, so you could probably guess which ones they are. And the music we've already heard. So now, time for the next Bowser's Castle. This one is actually a pretty infamous Bowser's Castle, mainly because of what Nathaniel Bandy had to say about it, and yeah, I honestly have to agree. But we'll get to it when we get to it. But as you can see, there's still the super fun, sharp 90-degree turns of the original Bowser's Castle. The Calm AI is more brutal. There's this turn, which is just loads of fun. there's that branching path there where if you go to the left, then you fall into a pit. Oh, hey, the cape feather. Watch where I use it. Yeah, I used it there, and it did not pay off. Oh well. It's better to use it there than for the cape shortcut, because technically you could use that dead end as a cape shortcut, but you have to be like nearly pixel perfect in order for it to work properly, and even then you start going the wrong way. Then of course I get stopped by the flumps, but the comms don't have to. See, Luigi just passed through that thwomp. Yeah. Definitely the worst track of the game thus far. Honestly, I'm actually debating putting in F tier. But I don't think it's offensively bad. It's not like another track we'll be approaching in the future that I do genuinely think is one of the worst I've ever played, though. Honestly, yeah, the more I talk, the more I convince myself that this one does deserve to be an F. It's just not a fun experience, no matter how you're playing it. I don't like it, and I would really highly recommend you don't play it. And as per usual, we've already heard the music, so now it's time for Mario Circuit 3, baby. Blah 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 blah. So there I actually had to develop a strategy where when you're drifting you have to let go of both the acceleration and the shoulder button so that then you can get the most precise turn afterwards. Not a good strategy, but it's the only one that worked for me. And that turn is really the only thing this has to offer. It's not a very fun track, and that turn is really obnoxious. I think bottom of C. It's not offensively bad. I just don't like it. Yeah. So that was Flower Cup. Started off strong-ish for this game, I guess. But my God, did it fall apart at the end. But luckily, though, I do actually think Star Cup is one of the relatively best cups in the game. I mean, starting off with Koopa Beach 1 is a really great sign. So yeah. As you can see, you can bunny hop through the water. Which, one thing that you'll see throughout this video is that I'm a sucker for bunny hopping. There's just something about pressing the shoulder button in the middle of racing that I find really fun. I mean, I'm not doing it in this footage, I don't know why, but yeah, bunny hopping through the water is actually kind of fun. Maybe my brain is going numb from all of this mediocrity, but for me, that's enough to put it in B tier. I quite like it. It's a really pleasant and fun track. The music's nice and soothing, and the track design is pretty fun. The music, though. Now we finally can say how about that music, because we finally have another music track. apparently one of the fan favorites of this game. For me, I personally think it's kind of whatever. I don't hate it, but it's definitely nothing I'm going to go out of my way to re-listen to. It's just fine. It's soothing enough, but it's not... It just kind of gets the job done for me. Like, when you think beach, this is probably one of the first melodies that would come to your brain. Anyway, Choco Island 2. So how about we take Choco Island 1? But wait, now the turds are more annoying. Yay! Oh yeah, and there's also this giant mud puddle. Really exciting stuff. That seems like a fair spot for it. It's okay. Surprisingly one of the better tracks in this game. Actually, maybe I'll put it under the Ghost Valleys just for a bit of variety. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going to place a lot of these tracks. Yeah, okay, that seems like a fair spot for it. I said it was in the top half and ended up right down in the middle. Wait, let me... Oh no, it can't be in the middle. Well, whatever. It's still a track that exists. And speaking of tracks, you probably have heard that the vanilla lakes in this game are pretty infamous. You'll hear my thoughts on Vanilla Lake 2 when I get to it, but I 100% agree with the criticisms when it comes to Vanilla Lake 1. Yeah, as you see, I got a cape feather, which means I can do something cool with it like that. But yeah, as you could see, probably, I had to bump into the ice cubes, but the comms didn't even have to worry about it. Which, I just find that to be such BS track design. I'd still probably... I mean, that combined with ice physics just makes this a really unpleasant experience. It's just not fun. I guess that's the only way I can put it. But I said that Star Cup was relatively okay for this game's standards. And it is, because now we got another really good track. I forgot the music. I actually think it's kind of beautiful. I think I may prefer the melody of Choco Island just a little bit more, but this one is really pretty. I really like it. It's a shame that I had to be attached to a terrible track. Anyway, now we're on to another pretty good track, honestly, in Bowser Castle 3. So yeah, as you can see, there's actually branching paths in this section. That is really cool. I mean, it's not cool to bump into racers like Peach did. What? You just slipped on a banana! How are you already ahead of me? Anyway. Oh yeah, I didn't even mention the fact that cops can relentlessly spam overpowered items. But yeah, I love that branching path section. Cape jump. I love the... I still am not a fan of the way thwomps work in this game. But I do think that this is the best track in the game thus far. It is, the branching path section is a fun set piece, and the turns actually feel somewhat fair for the point in the game that it's at. These two both felt too difficult for where they were. This, it's nearing the end. I feel like it's fine. If anything, I'd actually argue this one is way easier than Bowser Castle 2, which is weird. So, yeah. We've covered two pretty dang good tracks and two not so great tracks. How does this one end? Well, with Mario Circuit 4, what do I think of this one? That is actually a really good question that I've been asking myself too. I remembered really liking this one, then I replayed it and I didn't like it. And then I reflected on it and I really liked it. And then I replayed it again and I still didn't like it. I mean, as you can see, the design is just more interesting than Mario Circuit 3. This is basically Mario Circuit 3 done right. And the track design is difficult without going overboard. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's still just kind of a bunch of road. In fact, there's less pipes than normal. And because of that, it definitely... I'm gonna put it here. I really want to see Mario Circuit 4 return. It has such a cool layout that I think would be prime for a retro track. But it's also because I love the layout, but I don't like actually playing it in Super Mario Kart. So, yeah. Alright, we're already at the Special Cup, and it's only been half an hour. I'm either making good time or I don't have anything to say. Though I do have a lot to say about this track. First of all, recording footage for this was a nightmare. You're going to hear a lot of audio issues during this part. This is because I was so desperate to win that I started using save states. And this was the only track in the entire game that I physically could not beat unless I save stated like every single turn. Yeah, that turns oh so fun. And then, oh yeah, I didn't even mention the Monty Moles in Mario Circuit 2. I'm not a huge fan of the Monty Moles either, and I am so glad that they threw these on an already really frustrating track. Because look, I am playing like God, and I am still in 7th. I'm not explaining myself further. I flipping hate this track in this game. It is one of my least favorite tracks in the entire series. Just don't play it. And we already covered the music. Next, we got a kind of weird one. Koopa Beach 2. It's not weird because it's a sequel to one of my favorite tracks. I've just always found this one weird in general. I don't know if it's like the weird lily pad grass or the fact that you like cross the starting line from an angle, as you can see by the mini-map. But something about this one has always just felt kind of odd to me. There's also these puddles. I neglected to mention how much falling in puddles in this game sucks. But yeah, it really does. It kills all of your momentum. And it is basically a guaranteed loss every time it happens. So with that out of the way, I still think it's one of the better tracks of the game. That's probably here, but it's still, yeah, one of the better tracks of the game. Don't know how it happened, but such a weird track actually ended up making me feel something positive. So yeah, this cup is not... I mean, I guess it's off to a pretty good start. I just hate Donut Plains 3 with every fiber of my being. I'm sorry. And then we're on to another track that I really, really don't like. Ghost Valley 3. So basically, take everything that Past Me said about Ghost Valley 2, about how unfun it is, and dial it up to 11. That's Ghost Valley 3. As you see, the comms are as fun as ever, and bumping into the wall right at the start. Yeah. You have to get really good at this game in order to be able to play this track. It does not feel like it's built with this game's controls in mind, which is honestly true with a lot of tracks, but especially with this one. I don't think it's F tier worthy, but I think bottom of D is a good spot for it. I'm just not a fan. Yeah. I think I ranked the Ghost Valleys too high. Yeah. It is sad that this is one of the better tracks of the game, though. So, 2 more tracks to go, and probably the 2 I have the most to say about. Starting off with Vanilla Lake 2. You know I had my complaints with Vanilla Lake 1. It is the second to least well-ranked track in the entire game. What about 2? Well, for starters, I actually find this layout a bit more fun. Bumping into the ice is also way less punishing because of the little peaks you can go in. And, as I've stated, I really like bunny hopping, and this track lets you do a lot of that. I had to get my opinions out way quicker than I wanted. But yeah. I'm going to get so much flack for this. But I actually kind of like this track in this game, not gonna lie. Call me crazy, but there's just something about cutting all of those corners that's actually kind of fun. Now, one final track, and probably the most well-recognized track in the game, SNES Rainbow Road, the grand finale, and I am really mixed on what to think on this one. As you can see, for this game's standards, driving on it actually feels pretty good. There's no constant sliding all over the place. It feels like actually designed for this game or something weird, right? But then my grievances kind of start when the thwomps come in. This game does not control well, as I've noted several times in this video, and having to deal with these thwomps gets kind of annoying for me. Though I can see why others would really like them as a hazard. They at least stop it from feeling stale. But then I kind of have a grievance with the fact that when you get hit, it spins the entire screen. I think it goes above Vanilla Lake 2, though. It is still one of my favorites in the game, and I can definitely see why it's as popular as it is. I just personally have a few gripes with it, and that's all of the tracks ranked. As you can see, I have just the most positive opinions of this game. Now let's listen to the music so that we can finish the song rankings. like it a good amount. There. I don't think it... As you can see, I don't think a single song in this game is A tier or S tier worthy. But there are some really good ones in there, and I think Rainbow Road is one of the better ones. I still think that I would personally prefer listening to this over this. But yeah. And that was Super Mario Kart. Definitely one of the games of all time, and resulted in one of the streams of all time. I'm just glad I'm done, because I cannot emphasize how painful of an experience this was to actually do. So, with that out of the way, have